and welcome to the Learn2Learn Preparation Program walkthrough. This is just a chance for you to get a bit of an idea of what the program's like and to have a think about whether this is something that will be useful and appropriate for your students. So to start with, this is what the program looks like overall. It's nice and straightforward. It's quite clear for students to identify where they're at and where they want to go. Each week a new module is released so that we try and use all those really good brain-based learning practices such as spaced learning. It also means that if you're aligning this with your mentoring program, is you have a clear topic for each week that your students are gathering with their mentors, and they can have a good chat about what they've got out of the program and what they're wanting to implement. So one of the things that we've added to the program based on feedback that we received was an actual structured workbook that students could download. Now, throughout the program, there are reflective exercises. There's lots of encouragement for them to structure a lot of action and make sure that they're making progress. One of the things that was missing was a formatted way for them to track them. So what we've done is we've created a downloadable workbook. It is quite significant because there are a lot of activities, but it's something that's available for them to download. They can print it off, and as you can see, it just makes things a little bit easier for them to think about each one and actually have a dedicated space. It also means they can come back later on and see what's changed for them over the course of the program. If we jump into Module 1, we're starting to look at what are the theories behind that brain-based learning experience. This is where students start to get to know a lot more about themselves as learners and how they can actually structure their learning experience so that it really works for them as an individual. If we go into our first section, it's all about how the brain learns. So it's very theory-based, but it's written conversationally. So students don't need to yet have that academic reading ability in order to really make the most of the content. We make sure that we allow for a lot of different learning styles, whether that's visual for our models or whether that's activities to keep them thinking and applying, and even our videos, which they're all designed to be a little bit fun and to engage in different ways, as well, of course, to create a bit of a break from just the reading and the doing. One of the really important foundational activities we do is looking at who are our support networks, what motivates us, so that we can make sure that we build in a lot of the structural stuff that makes a difference for students actually staying the distance. We also have quizzes for a lot of the sections. Again, it's just about reiterating that learning and getting them to reflect back on what we've covered. We do also talk a lot about different learning styles, and obviously part of that is things like whether they're visual, auditory or kinesthetic, but looking at how they can layer those with other strategies so that they can create a really comprehensive toolkit of study strategies. So we do try and take students through a lot of these things. The whole program design is very much overtly teaching the learning strategies as well as actually embedding them in the program. When we look at things like goal setting, often we sort of tend to isolate things to just what are your goals when it comes to studying. The approach that we've taken is very much around what are your life goals, what are your course specific goals, so how does that fit into your overall life, and then coming right down to specific study session goals. What are you trying to achieve that's going to help you get your pass mark or whatever you're aiming for? What's going to help you get your course that you're trying to achieve, going to get you your career that you're after, and all that sort of thing. So it builds up. And we try and make sure that in everything that we're doing, we're taking a whole of life approach, because we know that students' lives are so much more complicated these days. Same goes with time management. It's not just about the time that they've committed to studying, whether that's 12 hours per subject or if it's something slightly different. It's really about where are you spending time across your entire week, and how much of that can you dedicate to your studies so that you're actually doing, I guess, your course justice, but also yourself justice, so that you're allowing yourself the time that you personally need to actually achieve that goal. One of the big things we know is that feedback and failure can be real crucial points for a student in terms of whether they progress or whether they drop out. Particularly when they get to their practicals, for example, where they may have been okay receiving feedback in a written form, but actually hearing it from the supervisor can make a significant impact on them, and they may not take it well. So trying to frame these things around a growth experience, including how to actually ask for the feedback that's going to be most useful to you. And of course, framing failure as just an iterative learning process, and that it's okay and it's something that we're going to grow from. And what are we going to change as a result of that? Another thing that we look a lot in is the social element of learning. So we do naturally learn in groups, that's how we've evolved, but being aware of how people are different in that respect. So what are the impacts of having introverts and extroverts in the same group? How do we work through that? How do we come together for a group work experience that's actually going to be representative of a teamwork experience, and it's going to enable us all to actually grow as a result? So we try and make sure that throughout the program that we're thinking not just about skills that are going to help them in their learning journey at their current place of learning, but also those lifelong learning skills and those employability skills that come with that. Module 6, or week 6 if you like, is our wrap-up week. It's our revision, and it's again reiterating all those key points that we've covered throughout the program. It's then an opportunity for the student to get their certificate, and they can get a digital badge as well, which highlights those employability skills that they've worked through as part of doing the program. So what I've taken you through here is very much our general public program. If you're looking to have your own version, that is obviously something we can do, which can include your own branding. We also recommend having some of your own specific support contacts and details on one of the early pages as well, so students know where they can go for help. So once they've developed those help-seeking behaviours as part of the program, they've got somewhere to go. That's all from me for the moment. If you've got any questions, certainly please give me a call, or you can email me, and I would be happy to get back to you with more details on how we can support you in supporting your students.